StraighTAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today we are starting part one of a three-part series that is titled Businesses That You Can Start Right Now. Yes, I'm going to give you some ideas of businesses that you can start right now. I like these kind of series, and I'll get into why and what those businesses are once we get into this episode. But before we start all of that, let me tell everybody, I send out a daily motivation text message free of charge every single morning to everyone who's in my text community. This message is guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. All you got to do to get it is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every morning when that daily motivation text goes out, because you are a member of my text community, that's the only reason why you're going to receive this text. And you can actually respond to any one of these text messages. You'll know it's a daily motivation because it will say daily motivation with a hashtag every time I send out the one that goes to everyone. Now, if I'm actually responding to you personally, that won't say daily motivation, and you'll know that that's me actually texting you back. And yes, I do text people back, and yes, that really is me responding to the text messages. As I said in yesterday's episode, somebody clearly was confused because I sent out a daily motivation text and they thought what I said in the daily motivation was said to them as a response to something that they had said, when it actually was not. It was actually the daily motivation text. But hopefully most of you don't get confused in that way. But anyway, text me at my number, and it's listed down below in the description so you get the daily motivation. Secondly, Work on Your Game University is the place where you go when you are ready to start working with me directly. Inside of Work on Your Game University, you will have the opportunity to be coached directly by me. You can bring your challenges to me. You can bring your questions. We can replace your questions with better questions. We can come up with clear game plans and plans of actions and strategies for you to go where you want to go business-wise and personally. Also, systems so that you can get to where you want to get to over and over and over again. In other words, so that you know what's going to happen and you can predict the outcomes of your business, and you know how to make things work consistently. Because again, professionals get paid consistently because they perform and produce consistently, effectively. And what about the accountability? What about the execution? What about making sure you're doing what's supposed to be done? What about when you're trying something and it's not working and you're like, I don't know why this is not working. Can somebody help me with this? Yes, somebody can help you with this. When you're a member of Work on Your Game University, I will help you with it. You will be able to bring your challenges to live conversations, and we can address what you're working on, what you need to work on, maybe what I didn't know about, but I find out as we have more conversations and say, all right, well, how about we do this? Now that I know that, how about we do this? Now that I know this, let's change this. All of those things happen inside of Work on Your Game University, amongst other things. But all you need to do to take your next step is one thing. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you will be shown exactly what your next steps are. You want to work with me inside the university. That is the only place to work with me, by the way, in case anybody was wondering what the options are. There's one option, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Now let's get into the subject. The topic is businesses that you can start right now. So what I'm going to do today, tomorrow, and the next episode is I'm going to throw out some business ideas that anyone who's listening to this can use, regardless of what you have done up to this point in your life. And all of these businesses can help you start making money. So when I say business, I'm talking about ways you can make money, with the caveat that each one of these businesses does require some level of skill. I'm going to tell you what these skills are, and you will have to decide whether or not you have these skills so that you can do these businesses, or if it is worth it to invest in going and getting the skill that I'm going to lay out. And I will give you the overall, what I'm going to do here is give you the overall general categories in these topics I'm going to throw out, and you can decide exactly how to deploy them. So I'm going to give you the direction, and you can figure out where exactly you want to focus. I'm picking areas where, just to be clear, when I say there are certain skills you need to have for each one of these, the areas that I'm going to share with you are things that any one of you could, with a minimal amount of learning, have the skill to jump into these spaces. So I'm not talking about you need to go get a college degree in order to do these things. I'm talking about a certain skill level that you can go acquire with a minimal amount of learning and a minimal amount of investment. There is some investment, And investment, by the way, is not just money. Time, money, attention, energy, focus are your 5 forms of investment. And I'm picking areas where, again, anybody could do this. And none of these areas require a high degree of specialized knowledge. None of them require this. So you don't have to have 4 years of schooling. You don't need to have gone through a 2-year training course. You don't have to have any, again, specialized knowledge, certification, or a certain level of education completed. None of these require any of that, okay? So if you want help with doing any of these things in detail, I already told you where to go. Work on Your Game University, and I will show you how to actually make these work and put a whole plan, strategy, and system together to make these things work and hold you accountable for doing it. But let's get into what the topics are so we can see if you hear anything that catches your ear. And again, today is part 1 of I'm going to make this a 3-part series because I got several here that I'm going to lay out that are possibilities for all of you. Point number 1, today's topic once again is businesses that you can start right now. Number 1, mastering the mix of artificial intelligence and human touch. Artificial intelligence is also known as AI. So any of you hear people say AI, what they're talking about is artificial intelligence, which is, if I had to put it into a simple terminology, it is computers basically replacing humans in some way, shape, or form. That's how I would describe AI. What Wikipedia says is artificial intelligence is intelligence demonstrated by machines as opposed to intelligence of humans and other animals. That's pretty much similar to what I said, right? So basically taking what machines are doing, the knowledge of machines and computers and computer programming, and combining that with human touch. Now, why is this even a business idea? Why do this? Because some of you may think, well, isn't AI's job to replace humans, Dre? Why would you need to mix? Why would you need to mix AI with human touch? I thought they were kind of diametrically opposed. That is incorrect. They are not diametrically opposed. You need human touch no matter how much AI you have in place. Why is this? Because there are certain things. Let me back up. There are certain areas where you could just use AI and you don't need human touch and you'll be all fine and good and maybe nobody knows the difference and maybe nobody cares. But there are other areas where AI alone is not enough. So for example, there's an application out there called ChatGPT, which some of you are familiar with. If you're tech savvy, you're probably familiar with it. If you're not tech savvy, you should get familiar with it because ChatGPT basically replaces the need to be tech savvy. It can actually write things and come up with ideas and do a lot of stuff for you that you won't have to do yourself because the computer is doing all the work. The code is doing all the work. But the reason I'm bringing up ChatGPT is because ChatGPT is a place where you can go to it and say, hey, ChatGPT, write a 500-word article about discipline for me. And I'm actually going to do that right now on my computer. You won't be able to see this, but you can do this. And the place to go do this is to go to chat.openai.com is the place where you can sign up for ChatGPT. And I am going to type that in. Write a 500-word article on discipline. I actually have a post on my Instagram. I put this on Facebook as well, where I said, hey, ChatGPT, give me 2,000 words on Baldwin. And I copied what ChatGPT wrote about me and I posted it to Instagram in a post. So if any of you want to see that post, look on my Instagram around, this is around mid-February 2023, and that post is out there. So write a 500-word article on discipline. Let me copy this, refresh the page, and I'm going to have ChatGPT write a 500-word article for me on discipline. So here it is. All right, so the title that ChatGPT came up with is The Power of Discipline, Unlocking Success Through Self-Control. And here's paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 5, paragraph 6. I'm just counting the paragraphs. Paragraph 7, there's another one, paragraph 8, there's another one, paragraph 9. 10 paragraphs, and it looks like it cut off a little bit, but this just gave me 500 words on the power of discipline, unlocking success through self-control, and it literally is 500 words. It just wrote it. All I did was write a 500-word article on discipline. That's all I told it to do, and it wrote a 500-word article for me. So any of you who are not familiar with this is artificial intelligence. This is what it is capable of doing right now, and you can use this, what I just did, completely for free. So you can start a blog and have a website with articles up every day. All you gotta do is copy and paste what's in here. Here's the challenge with this, and here's why the mix of AI with human touch matters. Because if someone else was to go to ChatGPT and ask the same question, and they got a similar article to mine, then how am I any different from anybody else in the marketplace if they could use the exact same software? Or what if somebody creates a program that basically starts a whole blog and website just using AI articles, and I go grab an AI article? Well, my article and their article are the exact same material. Why do they need me? They already got them. All right. And what if 300 other people do it? There are 8 billion people on the planet, right? The human touch part of this can put stories, it can put anecdote, it can put some human spirit and soul into this article that does not exist when AI does it. See, this is one thing that AI can't do. AI cannot, at this point, as of today's technology, it cannot put human spirit and human soul into your written material. So when you get an article from me, you get an email from me, I wrote that email. All right, ChatGPT does not write my emails. I write all my own stuff, word for word, all of it. Now, some people like to use ChatGPT, then they go edit it with their own thing. I don't really like doing that. I really like, if you read my stuff, my stuff is often based on my subjective experience. Is based on things that actually happened, things that I saw, sometimes based on a current event, something that just happened that day. I'm telling a story. If I was just giving you information, it would be actually kind of boring. And this is what AI articles do. They give you a bunch of information and things that sound good, but there's no humanity. There's no humanity in this article. Why? Because it's not written by a human. And this is what I'm telling you the opportunity is. Everybody got it? Now, this mix of AI and human touch is a very wide category. ChatGPT is just one area that AI has touched. AI is in many areas. If any of you has ever called the bank or a credit card company and you get that automated system and it asks you, what do you want? And then based on your answer, it routes you to a different direction. And then it asks you 7 questions before we'll get you on the phone with a human. All right, that's artificial intelligence as well. When you go to somebody's website and a little chat bot comes up in the bottom left corner and says, what can I help you with today? And you know it's not an actual human there, and they want you to engage with it, and you get kind of annoyed because you just want to talk to a human being. Okay, that's where the human touch part comes in. Any of you ever get annoyed when you got to deal with an automated system instead of a human? Okay, all right, that's why there's an opportunity for you to mix artificial intelligence with human engagement. All right, this is a very wide category, all right, but a very big opportunity, because this artificial intelligence thing is not going away. All right, and this, as of this recording, I'm recording this in the spring of 2023. This is the hottest thing happening on the internet right now. I mean, outside of like current event stuff, not current event, yeah, outside of current event / news stuff, I'm talking about as far as trends. This is the hottest thing happening right now. This is not a fad, folks. This is a trend, meaning it's not going away, and it's going to become even more ubiquitous as we move forward. So artificial intelligence is going to replace many jobs that are currently held by humans. They will now be held by computers, and it won't even be a job anymore because the computer will basically replace the need for the human being. But again, artificial intelligence does not have human soul, nor does it have human emotion. And as far as we know right now, computers are unable to replicate that energy that a human being brings to the table. So your opportunity is this. Many companies and people will be using AI moving forward, replacing humans, but the human touch is still necessary to make whatever the AI does feel more real. That's what you're going to be selling, basically. I can tell when I'm dealing with an artificial intelligence bot versus when I'm dealing with a human being. Can you tell? Most of you can. You have enough experience dealing with automated bots that you know when there's a bot and you know when there's a person. Now, your job, if you're going to step into this space, is to add that human touch to bring it to life, so to speak. So how many of you like talking to an automated bot when you call a credit card company? Most people don't. So somewhere in there is your opportunity. All right, it's your job to figure it out. All right, this is a business idea that I'm giving you. I'm not telling you, I'm not going to lay the whole business out for you, at least not for free. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is businesses that you can start right now. Number 2, creating offers and selling for people who cannot or do not wish to sell themselves. In other words, if you are a good salesperson, you can be a salesperson for someone who is a good performer, creator. You know, they're good at delivering what they do, but they're not good at selling what they do, or they just don't like selling what they do, but you can step in and sell for them, then you have a business opportunity. Why is this a business opportunity? Because you are the rainmaker. Right? And any of you not familiar with that term, in the sales world, the rainmaker is the person who makes the money come in. Okay? If you can make the money come in, you will always have an opportunity in life. Even if you're not good at anything else, you just know how to sell. So if someone gives you a product and a market, and you can have conversations and make money exchange hands, you will always have an opportunity in life. See, in the basketball world, there's this understanding that if you're a good shooter, if you can make outside shots, like the 3-point shot, like Steph Curry, if you can make outside shots, you'll always have a job in basketball. Why? Because a player who can spread the floor, that's what they call it. They call that spreading the floor. Because if you can make 3-point shots, for example, you make the defense have to come out there and spread out to the 3-point line to defend or account for your presence on the court, because you can make that 3-point shot. If you can make a 3-point shot in basketball consistently, you'll always have a job, because every team wants a guy who can spread the floor, because it opens up the lanes for the people who can drive to the basket. And it makes the defense spread out, and it makes it harder to stop everybody else. And in the sales world, it's the same thing. The person who can bring the money in is like the 3-point shooter. All right, you will always have a job. So this is a huge space, because selling is the highest paid profession in the world. You've heard me say that many times. And because there are many people out there who are good at doing a thing, but they are not good at selling that thing. So they're good at doing something, but it needs to be sold. Therefore, there are many people out there who are very good at doing something that they can't do it as much as they want to do it, because they're not good at selling their ability to do so. Therefore, they're not getting paid enough to do it. Therefore, they can't do it as much as they want to do it. They can't do it full time because they're not making enough money. And then the reason that they're not making enough money is not because they're not good at it, is because they can't sell it. So if you can fill that gap, their ability to sell, and you can be the salesperson, now they don't have to worry about selling. That weakness is no longer hurting them, and now you can be the salesperson. And they can make their money, you make some money, because you're helping them close their gap of selling. You're bringing the money in, so you will always have an opportunity. And that person will continue to need you because, well, they didn't learn anything about selling. All they did was get you to do it. So you are doing the job that they should be doing. Everybody get it? Does any of you know someone who does something really well, but they don't make the kind of money they should be making, simply because they're not that good at selling? Some of you should be pointing at yourselves. Let me ask the question again, just to make sure you caught it. Does any of you know someone who does something really well, but they're not making the kind of money that they should be making? Again, not because they lack skill, but because they don't know how to sell what they do. Or they're not good at selling what they do, so they're underselling themselves. Any of you know anybody who fits that description? Again, some of you fit that description yourselves. And some of you know some people who fit that description. Some of you know more than one person who fits that description. And here's the point. There's a huge opportunity here that will never go away. This one right here, unlike the AI thing, who knows how long the AI thing is going to last? I think it's going to get bigger from here, from the date that I'm recording this. But this one right here, selling, this one has always existed. AI as an opportunity is like in the last, 10 years-ish, become a normal mainstream opportunity. This right here, being able to sell for people who are not good at selling, this has always existed. This has existed since before any of us was even alive. Okay, before your parents were alive, this existed, and I don't care how old you are. And this will always exist. When all of us are gone, when your kids are old enough to be gone, this will still exist. The opportunity to sell for people who cannot or are not good at selling. It will never run out, because there are always people who can create things and people who can do things, but they are not that good at the selling of the thing. And the willing students who want to learn how to sell, there are not as many of them as there are willing creators who want to create. There are more creators than there are people who want to learn how to sell what they create. So you got a bunch of creators out there right now who can create things that are amazing, but they're not good at selling. Therefore, there's going to be a gap between the value of what they can create, let's call it the absolute value of what they can create, meaning what it would just be worth on the open market if somebody knew how to sell it, versus how much they're actually getting for it. In other words, let me put that another way. There are some of you who are listening to this right now who your skill level and the absolute value of what you do is worth, you should be making 6 figures a year. You should be making at least $100,000 a year. But right now you're making 50 grand a year. And that delta between the two, that's the gap, called the delta. That's the gap is $50,000. You get it? There's a $50,000 gap between the absolute value of what you do and what you're actually getting for what you do. Or if you believe what you offer is the absolute value is $1 million and you're making 100,000, then the delta is $900,000. You get it? And that gap right there, most people are not willing to become students diligently enough to close that gap, and they just accept the gap. In other words, there's someone out there making 50 grand, but what they could be making is 100 grand, but they will not do the work in order to learn how to change that 50 to 100. They're not going to do the work. Your opportunity is the fact that they won't do the work. You will take advantage of the fact that they won't do the work. You will come in and sell for them, get them to the 100,000, and you get a cut of it. Let's say you get a cut, half of what you help them do. So now you help them increase their income by 50 grand. You get half of the 50. So boom, you get 25 for yourself. They get 25. So now they have 75,000 when otherwise by themselves they would have been making 50. So everybody wins. You see how that works? That's a simple example, but this is what I mean. If you can step in and do something for some other people that they simply don't want to do for themselves, there's always an opportunity. I'm just using selling here as an example. There are other examples. Think about cleaning houses. Any of you know anyone who will clean up somebody else's house, their car, their bathroom, their whatever, their computer? You'll clean up things for other people that they don't want to clean up, and they'll pay you for it. It's not because they can't clean. They could if they wanted to. They just don't want to do the work. You do the work, they pay you. All right. My mom, when I was very young, she used to go and clean people's houses for money. That was one of her side gigs that she used to do. It's not that those people couldn't clean their own house. They just didn't want to do it, so they paid somebody else to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, we all do this. We should do this, as a matter of fact, because none of us is good at everything, and some of us should use our money to buy time so we can spend more time on the things that are a higher ROI activity. So if I make $100 an hour being on the computer, but I make no money washing dishes, I should hire somebody to wash the dishes so that I can spend more time on the computer because I make more money doing that. See what I'm saying? That's, again, just a simple example. But any of you who can sell, and I'm using selling here, and I'm using selling for a specific reason, because when you're the person who's the rainmaker, you can make the money come in. You will always have an opportunity in life. I don't care what it is that you're doing. So your opportunity is ever existing and it is ever expanding. There are always more people who are good at doing a thing but suck at selling it. There will never be fewer of them. There will always be more of them. So however many of them there were when I started recording this episode 20 minutes ago, there are more of them now than there were 20 minutes ago. And 20 minutes from now, there will be even more of them. So this is always an opportunity. Your job is to go find those people, insert yourself into their situation, help them make more money than they would have made without you, and then you take a cut of the upside. That's it. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is businesses that you can start right now. It's the third one. It's the last one I'm going to give you today, but we got 2 more episodes in this series. Number 3, social media management. Now, this one is one that maybe some of you do already right now. This one is not necessarily a new business opportunity. I didn't say these were new, but they are opportunities, and there are plenty of them. That's the reason. The ones I'm bringing up in this series are things of which there are plenty of them. There are more of them than there are more opportunities to do this than you can count. Meaning, if you take a week to go act on this, the opportunity will still be there. You shouldn't take a week because that'd be a disrespect of your time and disrespect of your life. But these opportunities ain't going away. The things that I'm laying out here. Social media management. And I mean this, you doing it specifically for people who cannot or do not want to do it. People who don't want to manage their social media or don't know how or just are inept at it, or they just throwing their hands up and say, I don't want to deal with this social media stuff. You step in and say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, I will deal with your social media stuff, or Mr. or Mrs. Entrepreneur, or Mr. or Mrs. Influencer, or Mr. or Mrs. Rapper, athlete, singer, politician, whatever, whoever they are. They want to be on social media, but they don't want to do the social media stuff, but you can. You step in, you help them, you manage their social media, they pay you. There you go. Similar to selling, there are more and more people out there who either need to or want to or believe that social media is somewhere that they must be. Now, whether that is true or not is a different conversation. Doesn't matter. They want to be on social media. It is not your job to tell them they don't belong on social media. They want to be on social media, which means they're either going to do it themselves poorly or they're going to find somebody and pay them to do it. Take the money. All right, that's your job. So if you are good at social media, you got to be good at it. So if you suck at any of these things, these are not opportunities for you. I already told you, you got to have a certain skill level to do these things, right? If you are good at social media and you understand how to do social media in third person, meaning you can manage somebody else's social media and you can manage it as if you are them, so that when people look at it, they know that they feel like it's them that's talking, not some bot and not some third person, i.e. you. And you can help somebody else's social media be better than what it is. You should turn it into a business, help people, and charge them money for it. That's it. Turn it into a business. The fact that you're good at social media, help people who are not good at social media, or people who don't want to engage. They don't want to be involved in social media, but they know they should be there because that's where people are, and then charge them money for it. That's it. That's your business. Off the top of my head, the first place I would look, any of you who's thinking about doing this, any of you who's under the age of 30, I will go looking at people who are over the age of 60. That's where I would start. If you're under age 30, I would go looking around for people who are over the age of 60, especially business owners who are over the age of 60, because many of them are not social media active. They are not social media engaged. They don't quite know what to do. Now, one caveat here is they might have kids who are your age, so they might have their kids doing it, but assuming they don't have any kids doing it, you can step in and do their social media for them. Let's say people who are 60 plus, like your parents' age. They may not be well versed with the internet nor interested in learning it, and you're 24, you're 35, you jump in and do for them what they don't want to do for themselves, and then they'll pay you for it. Because they are not going to take the time to learn how to do social media. They don't want to be engaged in all that stuff. They grew up in an era where there wasn't any social media. Or there was a newspaper and you actually went and shook people's hands. They don't want to get on the internet, but they need to be there. Their business needs to be there. That's where you step in. That's your opportunity. Now, you got to be good at social media to do this. That goes without saying. So with all that said, this is the first 3 of, we got 9 that I'm going to lay out here in this series. Businesses that you can start right now. So any of you trying to figure out what your next move is, what you should do next in business, I hear this from a good number of people who join my text community. I'm laying it all out for you here. So number 1, where I'm at. Number 1, mastering the mix of AI and human touch. Artificial intelligence is not going away. It is a trend, but none of us likes dealing with an AI bot, especially when we realize that it's an AI bot. And most of the time we can tell immediately that we're dealing with an AI bot as opposed to dealing with a human, right? All right, most humans want to deal with humans, and we get annoyed when we got to deal with artificial intelligence. So if you can find out a way to mix AI and the human touch at the same time, that is a huge opportunity. Listen, the person who can figure out how to do this in a way that makes it easy and makes it work in a way that consumers will be happy about it, this person's gonna make $1 billion, guaranteed. Now, I'm not telling you you're gonna make $1 billion, but you can at least make a living if you can figure out how to do this in a way that makes sense for you and makes sense for the people who you want to serve. Point number 2, creating offers and selling for people who do not want to sell or cannot sell. So if you know somebody out there who's underselling their stuff, who just doesn't sell well, who's selling themselves short, not making enough money, you can fill in the gap between what they are worth and what they're actually accepting right now, and you can take a cut of the upside. You can be doing this for more than one person, by the way, and you can make a ton of money for yourself if you are good at selling. Number 3, social media management. There are a lot of people, everybody wants to be on social media, or most people who are in business understand they need to have a presence on social media, even if they don't have one right now. They are willing to pay for someone who can help them close that gap, especially people who are older and are not interested in learning anything about social media / the internet. You can step in and do that thing for them and let them pay you. And again, similar to the salesperson, you can have more than one client at the same time. You don't have to do this for just one person. You can have 10 clients. What if you had 10 clients paying you $1,000 a month? Would that be a good month for you? But you need to get out and start selling. All right, you see how all this stuff connects. So with all that said, tomorrow we're going to go into the next group in this series. And so any of you ever come to me asking for business ideas, I'm going to just send you links to these episodes. And any of you know anyone, you parents out there, you have kids who are getting out of school or they're trying to figure out their lives, they don't know what they want to do next, send them links to this episode and make sure to tell them, listen to this one, the next one, and the next one after that. So we're going to go into some business ideas I'm going to give you that you can get started on right now. Text me. Tell me the best idea you got from this one. You're going to do something with this. If you put it to use, let me know. My number is 305-384-6894 and workonyourgameuniversity.com. Once you start putting these things to use, if you want some help coming up with a full strategy and a game plan for what you're doing, and you want a system for doing it, and you want to be held accountable for your execution on all of this, and the mindset to make it happen, because these are all entrepreneurial things, and there's a certain mindset you need to be an entrepreneur, because there are challenges that will come in the game. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and let's get started. Work on your game. Dre all day.